Stop believing that everyone you meet deserves a piece of you. They don't. Empaths. You feel deeply, you see beyond words, and you carry compassion that can heal people. But here's the truth. The very gift that makes you powerful is what makes you a target. Toxic people don't come for the weak. They come for the strong, who will give without taking, forgive without demanding change, and stay when they should walk away. They don't want your advice. They want your energy. And once they know you'll hand it over without a fight, they'll take it, piece by piece, until there's nothing left. You think you can save them. That's the trap. You think your love will make them better. That's the bait. Toxic people don't want to be saved. They want to be enabled. They will test your boundaries, twist your kindness, and use guilt like a blade. And the more you bend, the more they'll push. So here's what you do. You set lines. And you defend them like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't justify. You step back, you cut access, you guard your time, your space, your mind. Understand this, your light is rare. Your empathy is gold. And the wrong people will spend it like loose change. The right ones will protect it like treasure. You don't have to stop caring. You have to stop caring for those who destroy you. Walk away, not because you're cold. Walk away because you refuse to let someone turn your gift into your curse. Your light is yours. Keep it burning for those who deserve to stand in it. Empaths have heightened awareness. Toxic people see this as a tool to exploit. It's not an accident. It's not random. It's targeted. When you can read a room before anyone says a word, when you can sense the shift in someone's tone, when you can detect pain or anger in someone's eyes before they speak it, you carry a power most people don't even notice exists. That's what heightened awareness is. It's a radar, a constant scanning system, always picking up signals others miss. But here's the dark side of that gift. Predators can feel it too. They can sense that you sense. And for the wrong kind of person, that makes you valuable. Not as a partner, not as a friend, but as a resource they can tap into for their own gain. Toxic people don't come for you because you're weak. They come because you're open. They come because you can feel their pain, and they know you'll want to help. They see your awareness as an entry point, a way to get in without knocking. They know you'll notice their suffering, their struggles, their brokenness, and that you'll move in closer, thinking you're here to heal them. What you don't realize at first is that some people use brokenness as bait. They lead with the wounds, the sad stories, the chaos. And when you're wired to feel deeply, you lean in instead of backing away. That's when they hook you. Heightened awareness is like having the best security system in the world. But if you never lock the doors, it doesn't matter. Empaths often forget that their sensitivity needs boundaries. You think awareness will protect you. It won't. It just tells you when something's wrong. The protection comes from what you do next. The toxic person's goal is simple. Gain access to your mind and your emotions. Once they're in, they'll drain what they can. Your time, your energy, your self-worth. They'll take your attention and turn it into their fuel. And they'll do it in ways that seem subtle at first. They might flatter you, mirror you, pretend to share your values. But watch closely. The consistency fades and the manipulation begins. They'll guilt you when you pull away. They'll question your loyalty when you say no. They'll paint themselves as the victim so you feel obligated to stay. This is the moment where most empaths get trapped. When you confuse compassion with responsibility, feeling for someone doesn't mean you owe them access to you. Awareness doesn't mean obligation. Your heightened perception should be your armor, not your weakness. It should tell you when to engage and when to step back. It should let you spot the early signs of manipulation and shut the door before it becomes an invasion. The truth is, protecting your light isn't selfish. It's survival. Your empathy is a rare currency. And just like money, if you hand it out to everyone who asks, you'll go broke. When you're drained, you can't help the ones who truly deserve your energy. Toxic people understand this dynamic better than you think. They know that the more they can keep you in a cycle of helping them, the less time you'll have to invest in yourself. They want you busy fixing their mess, not building your own life. You have to flip the script. You have to start seeing your empathy as a privilege, not a free service. The right people will respect it. The wrong people will abuse it. And your job is to make that distinction fast, before the wrong ones settle in and start feeding off you. Heightened awareness gives you an advantage if you use it strategically. When you feel that subtle tension in the air, don't just notice it, act on it. When you sense dishonesty in someone's words, trust it. When your gut tells you someone's story doesn't add up, believe it. Awareness without action is like seeing the storm coming and refusing to move inside. Stop letting toxic people weaponize your empathy. They can only use it against you if you give them permission. And permission often looks like endless listening, endless forgiving, endless hoping they'll change. But people don't change because you care. They change because they choose to. And most toxic people don't choose to. If you want to protect your light, you have to get comfortable disappointing the wrong people. You have to be okay with someone thinking you're cold because you didn't rush in to fix them. You have to accept that walking away is not cruelty. It's clarity. You were given heightened awareness for a reason. Not so you could spend your life patching up people who rip holes in your soul, but so you could see danger coming and move in the opposite direction. Your gift is powerful, but power without discipline destroys the one who holds it. So, guard your awareness. Guard your energy. Guard your light. Let the toxic ones find someone else to feed on. Because when you protect yourself, you don't just save your energy, you preserve it for the people who will truly value it. And those are the only people who deserve to stand in your light. Kindness without boundaries is an open door for manipulation, not a crack in the door, not a small opening, wide open, a clear signal that says, come in, take what you want. Kindness by itself is powerful. It builds trust, bridges gaps, and changes lives. But kindness without limits? That's not power. That's exposure. That's like leaving your valuables on the front porch and hoping no one steals them. People talk about kindness as if it's always safe. It's not. Because there are two kinds of people in the world. Those who appreciate kindness and those who see it as an opportunity. The opportunists aren't grateful. They're calculating. They look at your generosity and ask themselves, how far will this person go before they say no? And if you never say no, they already have their answer. You might think your patience, your forgiveness, your willingness to give people chance after chance makes you a good person. It doesn't. It makes you an easy target for someone who thrives on taking advantage. Manipulators don't come in waving red flags. They come in smiling. They come in complimenting you. They come in making you feel like your kindness is changing their life. But watch closely. They're not changing. They're just getting comfortable. Every time you give without setting a limit, they push a little further. They take a little more. They test how much of yourself you're willing to give away. And once they know you won't stop them, they'll keep going until you have nothing left. Not your energy, not your peace, not your self-respect. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors you control. You choose who comes in. You choose how far they get. Without them, kindness becomes a liability instead of an asset. When you help someone, you have to ask yourself, are they trying to grow or are they trying to drain me? A person who values your kindness will meet you halfway. They'll appreciate it. They'll respect the line where your help ends and their responsibility begins. But a manipulator, they'll make sure there's no line at all. They'll use guilt to keep you in place. They'll twist your word so you feel obligated. They'll play small so you feel big, but not in a way that lifts you, in a way that traps you. That's why kindness without boundaries isn't kindness at all. It's self-neglect dressed up as virtue. You're not helping someone when you let them repeatedly disrespect your time, your energy, or your values. You're just giving them permission to keep doing it. The hard truth is this: the people you fear disappointing are often the ones who most need to hear no from you. The people who will get angry when you set boundaries are the very people those boundaries were meant for. When you stop letting someone take advantage of your kindness, they won't thank you. They'll attack you. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're cold. They'll try to shame you back into submission. That's when you have to stand firm. That's when you have to remind yourself, you're not here to be used. Your kindness should be earned, not expected. It should be a reward for trust, not a tool for manipulation. And the only way to make sure of that is to set clear limits and enforce them without apology. You can still be compassionate and say no. You can still be caring and walk away. You can still be generous and guard your peace. Those things aren't contradictions. They're balance. If someone values you, your no will not destroy the relationship. If someone only values what they can take from you, your no will expose them. And that exposure is a gift. It tells you exactly who deserves your kindness and who doesn't. Kindness is like fire. In the right hands, it warms. In the wrong hands, it burns. The difference between the two is whether you control it or let someone else control it for you. When you set boundaries, you don't become less kind. You become more effective. Your kindness becomes intentional. It goes where it can do good instead of where it will be wasted. And in a world full of people who are quick to take, intentional kindness is rare and powerful. So stop thinking that saying no makes you unkind. Stop believing that everyone who needs help deserves yours. Stop letting guilt control the way you give. Your kindness is a privilege. Don't hand it to people who will use it as a weapon against you. Toxic people hunt energy, not truth. They drain, they don't build. They are not searching for facts, growth, or solutions. They are searching for a charge, a hit, a feed. When you speak the truth to them, they don't listen to understand. They listen to extract. Your words are not information to them, they're fuel. If you're angry, they feed on it. If you're sad, they feed on it. If you're happy, they'll drain it from you just to pull you back down. These people are not builders. They are dismantlers. They don't enter your life to add anything. They come to consume what's already there. They take your focus, your time, your drive, and convert it into their own survival. That's why you'll notice after spending time with them, you feel heavier, slower, less motivated. That's not coincidence. That's their effect. Toxic people survive by keeping others off balance. They need chaos to stay in control. They need drama to keep the attention centered on them. Truth threatens them because truth forces accountability. But energy, that's safe for them to take. Because energy can be stolen without consent. All they have to do is push the right buttons, and you'll hand it over willingly. This is why logic doesn't work on them. You can explain your point 100 different ways. You can prove you're right. You can lay out facts, timelines, and evidence. It won't matter. They're not here to find the truth. They're here to provoke you into giving them more of yourself. The more you try to make them understand, the deeper you fall into their trap. Every extra minute you spend trying to convince them is more energy in their pocket. And when they've taken enough, they'll leave you drained and questioning yourself, while they move on to their next source. You have to start seeing toxic people for what they are, energy thieves. They don't care about reality, fairness, or reason. They care about keeping you engaged. They care about keeping you talking, explaining, reacting, because the more you do, the more they win. Think about how they operate. They provoke you with a jab, then act shocked at your reaction. They twist your words so you defend yourself harder. They create problems just so they can watch you scramble to solve them. All of this is designed to make you spend your emotional, mental, and even physical energy while they sit back and feed. The most dangerous part? They often look harmless at first. They can be charming. They can be funny. They can make you feel like they're on your side. But slowly you realize they're not contributing to your life. They're siphoning from it. They're not building with you. They're breaking you down. The solution is simple but not easy. Stop feeding them. That means cutting off the emotional supply. Stop over-explaining yourself. Stop trying to win them over. Stop reacting to every provocation. You can't starve an energy thief if you keep delivering meals. That doesn't mean you have to fight them. Fighting them still gives them what they want, your energy. The real power move is disengagement, indifference, silence. Because when they can't get a reaction, they can't feed. And when they can't feed, they eventually leave. The truth is, the best way to win against toxic people is not to win with them at all. You don't play their game. You don't meet them on their level. You don't waste your strength trying to drag them into the light. You step out of their shadow and let them starve on their own. Your energy is not free. It is the fuel that drives your goals, your relationships, your future. Every drop you give to someone who drains instead of builds is a drop stolen from your own growth. You have to treat it like the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Toxic people don't just take energy, they take momentum, they take vision, they take the belief you have in yourself. And if you let them stay long enough, they can convince you that your exhaustion is your fault, not the result of their constant pull. But once you see the pattern, you can break it. You can stop engaging in endless debates. You can stop defending every decision. You can stop explaining yourself to people who don't care about the explanation. You can stop being the battery for someone else's dysfunction. Toxic people hunt energy, not truth. So stop giving them the one thing they're looking for. Guard it. Protect it. Invest it only in those who build with you, not those who break you. Guilt is their weapon, empathy is the target. It's the perfect combination for a manipulator, the tool that cuts and the weakness that lets it in. When you feel deeply, you care about how others feel. You care about not hurting them, not letting them down, not making them feel rejected. That's empathy. It's a strength. It's what makes you human in a world that's becoming colder. But in the hands of the wrong person, it's a handle they can grab and use to control you. Toxic people know this. They know they can't overpower you with logic or facts because empathy isn't about logic. It's about emotion. And they know the fastest way to influence emotion is to inject guilt. They do it with words, with tone, with silence, with stories designed to make you feel like you've done something wrong just by protecting yourself. They make your boundaries look like betrayal. They make your self-respect look like selfishness. They make your distance look like cruelty. And you, because you feel deeply, hesitate. You question yourself. You wonder if maybe you really are being too harsh, too unkind, too unwilling to understand. That hesitation is where they win. Because in that pause, you start bending your limits to relieve the discomfort of guilt. The guilt tactic works because it flips your natural empathy against you. Instead of using it to connect with people in healthy ways, you end up using it to tolerate behavior you'd never accept if you didn't feel bad for them. And the more you tolerate, the more they push. This is why some of the most caring, generous people end up trapped in cycles of manipulation. You think you're being compassionate, but what you're really doing is paying a ransom, giving pieces of yourself in exchange for the hope that they'll stop making you feel bad, but they won't stop. Guilt isn't a mistake for them. It's a method, a deliberate choice. A strategy that works because they've learned that a guilty empath is an obedient empath. The only way to break this cycle is to stop giving guilt the power to decide your actions. You have to rewire your response. The moment you feel guilt rising when you know you're protecting your peace, stop and ask yourself, am I actually doing something wrong, or am I just being made to feel like I am? A manipulator will never answer that question honestly for you. You have to answer it for yourself. And the truth will usually be this: you're not hurting them, you're just no longer letting them use you. Understand this. Guilt is not proof that you've done something wrong. Sometimes, guilt is just the echo of someone else's agenda in your mind. It's the residue of years of conditioning that told you good people never say no, or you're responsible for other people's feelings. Those are lies. You are responsible for your words and your actions, not for how someone chooses to interpret them. You are responsible for respecting others, not for bending yourself until you disappear. And you are responsible for protecting your energy, even if it disappoints someone who was counting on you to give it away. Once you see guilt for what it is, a weapon in the hands of someone who wants control, it loses its bite. It becomes background noise instead of a command. You stop reacting automatically and start choosing your response. The shift is powerful. They say, you've changed. You think, good. They say, I thought you cared. You think, I do, but I care about myself too. They say, you're the only one who can help me. You think, that's the problem. Empathy without boundaries is a vulnerability. Empathy with boundaries is a fortress. The people who deserve your compassion will never try to make you feel guilty for having limits. They'll respect them, even if they don't like them. The ones who use guilt to keep you compliant have no interest in your well-being, only in your usefulness to them. And here's the truth you have to accept. Some people would rather you feel guilty than free. They'd rather you doubt yourself than stand tall. They'd rather you keep giving than see you walk away. So walk away anyway. You don't have to harden your heart to stop being a target. You just have to stop letting guilt make your choices. You just have to remind yourself over and over that empathy should never come at the expense of self-respect. You just have to decide that anyone who needs to harm you to keep you close isn't someone you owe anything to. The next time guilt creeps in when you know you're doing what's right for you, treat it like a false alarm. Don't run back into the fire. Don't hand your energy over as a peace offering. Let the discomfort pass and keep your boundaries in place, because guilt is their weapon and empathy is the target, but only if you let them aim. The fixer mindset traps you. You are not here to save the broken. It feels noble. It feels purposeful. It makes you believe you're doing something meaningful. But if you're not careful, it will swallow you whole. When you see someone hurting, you want to help. When you see someone lost, you want to guide them. When you see someone broken, you want to put them back together. That's the fixer's instinct. The deep pull to repair what's damaged, to heal what's hurting. It's not weakness, it's not stupidity, it's empathy in overdrive. But here's the hard truth. Not everyone who is broken wants to be fixed. Some people cling to their brokenness like a shield. It's their identity. It's their excuse. It's the reason they don't have to change. And if you step into their life determined to repair them, you'll quickly find yourself pouring effort into a hole that never fills. The fixer's trap works like this. You see their pain. You step in, you give your time, your energy, your patience. At first, they seem grateful. They may even improve a little. But soon you realize that their progress depends entirely on your constant involvement. The moment you step back, they sink again. And you rush back in, thinking you just need to try harder, give more, be more patient. It becomes a cycle. You work, they take. You work harder, they take more. and you don't even see the trap closing because you're so focused on the mission of helping them. The truth is, you can't save someone who's committed to staying broken. You can't carry them into healing. You can't want it more than they do. And the more you try, the more you risk destroying yourself in the process. Some broken people don't need a fixer. They need consequences. They need to feel the weight of their own choices. They need to sit in their discomfort long enough to decide they're ready to climb out. When you rush in and cushion every fall, you rob them of that moment. You don't help them grow. You help them stay the same. And here's the part most fixers don't want to hear. Sometimes fixing them isn't even about them. Sometimes it's about you. It's about needing to feel needed. It's about proving your worth by proving you can make a difference. It's about controlling the situation so you can feel safe. And that's where the danger lives. When your identity is tied to the act of saving, you can't walk away, even when saving them is killing you. You have to let go of the idea that walking away means you've failed. You haven't. You've simply recognized the truth. Your job is not to rebuild another human being from the ground up. Your job is to support those who are building themselves. Helping is not the same as rescuing. Support is not the same as sacrifice. And love is not the same as carrying someone who refuses to walk. When you stop trying to fix people, something shifts. You see more clearly who actually wants to grow and who just wants a crutch. You stop wasting energy on the unwilling, and you start investing it in the ones who meet you halfway. You protect your peace. You preserve your strength. And you begin to understand that real healing comes from within, never from outside force. The fixer mindset isn't bad in itself. It's driven by compassion, which is a gift. But like all gifts, it becomes dangerous without boundaries. If you're going to help someone, you need to know where your responsibility ends and theirs begins. You need to know when to step in and when to step back. Here's the reality. The broken can inspire you with their resilience, or they can drain you with their resistance. The difference depends on one thing, their willingness to heal, and that's the one thing you cannot give them. So stop thinking you are the solution to everyone's problems. Stop sacrificing yourself on the altar of helping. Stop letting your life's work be the endless repair of people who break themselves again and again. You were not put here to save the broken. You were put here to live your own life to the fullest. And in doing so, inspire others to rise on their own. The ones who truly want to will find a way. The ones who don't will find another fixer to drain. Choose wisely which one you give your energy to. Because every moment you spend trying to save someone who refuses to save themselves is a moment stolen from your own growth. You can care without carrying. You can love without losing yourself. And you can help without falling into the trap. Remember, the fixer's hands can only rebuild what the broken person chooses to hold together. If they let go, all your work crumbles. Don't let your life be a pile of ruins you didn't create. Walk away from the ones who won't stand. Stand beside the ones who will. Your silence and detachment are your armor. They are not signs of weakness. They are not proof that you've given up. They are proof that you've chosen strength over reaction. In a world where toxic people thrive on pulling you into arguments, emotional outbursts, and endless explanations, silence is a weapon they can't fight. They want your voice because your voice gives them something to twist, something to provoke, something to use against you. When you refuse to give it, you starve them. Detachment works the same way. When you are emotionally invested in every move they make, they control the game. They push a button, you respond. They throw a jab, you defend. But when you detach, when you stop giving their chaos priority in your mind, they lose control. They're swinging at shadows. Silence doesn't mean you don't have something to say. It means you've chosen not to waste it on someone who's already decided not to hear you. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you've decided to care about the right things. Your peace, your focus, your future, instead of their drama. Toxic people hate silence and detachment because they thrive on access. They need you to keep the door open so they can keep walking in. They need your reaction so they can keep feeding off your energy. When you shut that door and stop reacting, it's not just a boundary, it's a fortress. The moment you stop giving them what they're looking for, they'll accuse you of being cold, selfish, even heartless. That's not the truth. That's their fear speaking. They fear losing control over you. They fear the power shift that happens when you stop playing their game. Here's the thing, silence and detachment are not passive moves. They're deliberate choices. It takes discipline to hold your tongue when someone is baiting you. It takes strength to sit in stillness while they try to provoke you. And it takes clarity to remember that engaging with them only gives them more of what they want. Most people think strength is loud, that it's about shouting your point, winning the argument, or putting someone in their place. But true strength often looks like walking away without a word. It's knowing you could respond, but you choose not to. It's letting their words fall flat because you know they have no power unless you give it to them. Detachment is not running away from reality. It's separating yourself from what no longer serves you. It's cutting the emotional cord that keeps you tied to their chaos. It's saying, I see what you're doing and I'm not playing. When you practice silence and detachment, something shifts inside you. You stop feeling the need to justify every decision. You stop explaining yourself to people who only listen to argue. You stop chasing closure from people who never intended to give it. And you realize that your energy is finite and you're the only one who gets to decide where it goes. Toxic people will try harder when they feel you pulling away. They'll poke, they'll provoke, they'll escalate. This is the test. This is where most people break and react, handing their power back to the very person they were trying to escape. But if you hold the line, if you stay silent, if you remain detached, their power fades. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers they can't twist. Detachment is not absence. It's presence in your own life instead of theirs. This doesn't mean you avoid every confrontation or never speak your truth. It means you choose your moments. You speak when it matters, not when you're baited. You engage when it's productive, not when it's a trap. You protect your energy by refusing to spill it into black holes. In the end, your silence and detachment aren't about them at all. They're about you. They're about protecting your mental clarity. They're about guarding your emotional space. They're about giving yourself room to breathe, think, and move forward without being dragged backward. When you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. When you stop being controlled, you take your life back. And when you take your life back, no toxic person, no manipulator, no energy thief can touch you. So wear your silence like armor. Hold your detachment like a shield. And let their chaos crash against walls they can't break. Protect your emotional space like a guarded border. Because when you leave the gates wide open, you invite anything to walk in, good or bad, and bad never knocks politely. It storms in, it tramples. It leaves you cleaning up the mess for months, maybe years. Your mind, your heart, your peace. These are not public property. They are not for anyone to take, test, or tamper with. You get to decide who steps in. And if someone doesn't respect the boundaries of your space, you remove their access. Completely. Too many people think being nice means letting everything slide. They think love is unconditional even to those who repeatedly bring harm. That's how people get drained. That's how emotional burnouts happen. Not because they gave, but because they gave without guardrails. Being generous with your energy is noble. Being careless with it is self-sabotage. You need to treat your emotional space the way a nation treats its borders, with checkpoints, with rules, and with consequences for violations. Toxic people aren't after your friendship, they're after your access. They want to plant themselves in your life so deeply that removing them feels impossible. And once they're in, they don't build anything. They dismantle, they destabilize, they erode your sense of self until you question your own worth. And every moment you let them stay is a silent permission slip telling them, you can continue. The only way to protect yourself is to make entry difficult, not impossible, but earned. Think about it. A guarded border doesn't mean no one gets in. It means only the right ones do. People who respect the process. People who value the land they enter. People who follow the rules, not because they have to, but because they honor the privilege of being there. That's how you should run your emotional space. If someone throws tantrums because you set boundaries, that's proof they never respected you in the first place. Here's the truth. People who truly value you won't be offended by your boundaries. They'll understand them. They'll appreciate them. They'll even protect them with you. The ones who lash out when you set limits are the ones who benefited most from you having none. And if that hurts to hear, remember, the sting of losing a toxic person is nothing compared to the agony of keeping them. Guarding your emotional space is not about building walls out of fear. It's about building gates out of wisdom. You're not here to isolate yourself from the world. You're here to filter it. You're here to make sure the ones you let in contribute to your life, not corrupt it. You are the only one responsible for your peace. That means you are also the only one who can protect it. Do not feel guilty for locking out someone who repeatedly shows you they don't deserve entry. Do not justify their behavior because they're going through a hard time. Hard times don't give permission to harm others. Do not lower your defenses just to seem understanding. Predators love understanding. It means you'll tolerate more of their damage. When you guard your emotional space like a border, something powerful happens. Toxic people stop targeting you. Why? Because you no longer provide easy access. You're no longer the unguarded land they can invade at will. You become a fortress. And fortresses don't get conquered by accident. So, protect your space with intention. Build the gates. Set the rules. Enforce them. And if someone refuses to respect them, don't negotiate. Remove them. Your peace is priceless, and not everyone can afford it. If you don't control who enters your world, someone else will. And they won't be as careful with it as you should be. Preserve your light. It's your most valuable currency. Your light is not just your kindness. It's not just your compassion. It's the rare combination of your energy, your clarity, and your resilience that most people will never possess. It's the reason others feel safe around you. It's the reason you can walk into chaos and bring calm. But that same light will draw in those who have no intention of protecting it. They will come to take, not to give.